Welcome to the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. I'm Josh Carlos. How's it going, brother?
I'm well today. How are you, Josh?
Doing well also. We are getting closer and closer to the Christmas holiday. So we're busy with work. We're busy with everyday life. And I'm hearing we're busy with getting people through commencement as well.
Yeah. That was last week. That was a big ordeal at the DSDT organization, and we definitely would like to highlight some of the special moments, if you will.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wasn't invited. So you tell me what happened, how it all went. I want to see some pictures. I want to see some video. Do we have something to give us a little illustration of what happened at the commencement?
Okay, so first of all, let me just say this, all right, because you just made the statement that you weren't invited. It was virtually, right? So the entire world that was connected to the intranet had access, right? And for those who don't understand what I mean when I say connected to the intranet, it means YouTube. So you will be able to find the video of the virtual commencement on YouTube. Okay, so but all intents and purposes aside, you were the first person at the top of my list to potentially do the commencement. However, I was, of course, outvoted, and I really don't have any say so around the organization. So I just tend to just let people do as they do. And sometimes I may come in with some executive veto power. But for this occasion, it wasn't necessary. We actually had a great speaker for the commencement address, Mr. Josh Edmonds, no Josh twin, but Josh Edmonds from the city of Detroit. He's the director of digital inclusion. And so we definitely would love to, kind of hear his and probably a few of the other outtakes. As a matter of fact, why don't we just cue that up right now?
Okay.
All right. So, of course, this is our CEO and school director. Yeah, right. Let's see how well she did, right? So,
hello, and welcome to our virtual graduation ceremony. My name is Jamie Harris, and I am the school director of DSDT. We are so proud of you for making it through one of the most trying times in global history. Although we are disappointed we cannot hold a traditional in-person ceremony, we were determined to find the safest way possible to celebrate you in a virtual setting. As the country works to get back to our new normal,
now, Josh, just remember
all
now,
of you were able
I
to
wrote
overcome
this.
obstacles
I'm just saying,
and graduate with your certificate or diploma to either start your career or continue on a path of excellence and control your own destiny. I am humbled and honored to be a part of your journey and this milestone achievement in your life. Never underestimate the power of your strength in times of adversity, as you have proven you can overcome new challenges. Continue to go far on your journey, your dreams, new challenges, and ambitions. Do not stop here. Keep challenging yourself and others. Inspire and create a life worth living. Congratulations to each and every one of you.
So let's just for a split second, right? Second. So Jamie was, she spearheaded the graduation, of course. I sit back as I listen to her address this momentous occasion, and I wonder, does she think like I? And the thought process is, wow. Wow. Here we are with, I think this was our fourth or our fifth graduation since we started DSDT here in Southwest Detroit. And I sat back as they were piecing together the media, and I was looking at all the names, and I was looking at the speakers who had participated in it. And I thought, wow, wow. I mean, it's like, I don't know if everyone gets the sensation that I do. It's not like we are an institution that's been here since 1868, and we have all these fanfare and all these things, on the heels of COVID. But definitively, this was a moment that I thought that it was one that I'll always remember. And I wonder if, and we'll get an opportunity later to speak with our student alum that's here today, as she's one of those graduates. But to me, as being on the administrative side of it, I thought like, wow, you know, and to hear even Jamie, right? Because Jamie doesn't necessarily like to have the mic and be front and center,
No.
but to have her in that light was definitely a moment for me.
Beautiful. Well-written speech, by the way. Well written.
Right. So I think I want to also hear from, and we've had him on the show already. So you remember Mr. Jose Rivera.
Yes, I do.
Jose was actually the one who did the student address for the graduates. I just would like to play. Let me play his
Oh,
part.
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, let us get that queued up. All right, Jose.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose Orlando Rivera, and I'm a recent graduate of DSDT. I chose DSDT because I wanted to get my start, like many of you, in the IT field. I actually was 6 months away from getting my bachelor's degree to be a science teacher. And after doing some student teaching at a middle school, it was not for me. And I always kept coming back to my IT field. I always kept coming back to cybersecurity or something related to computers. I recently got laid off, and I finally felt the final push to just finish. And DSDT's program that they had and where I was at in my life matched up perfectly. So it was almost as if it was made for me. I took the DSDT's Tech 6 program, which was your Net Plus, Sec Plus, and CISA classes, and all three were just as equally hard. But for every question I had, it was answered by my professors in a timely manner. There was not a time where I did not get a response or did I feel where I wasn't being heard or listened to. Everything that they did prepared me for my new career, which as of next week will be a mainframe developer at Comerica Bank in Auburn Hills. So I wouldn't be here right now if it was not for DSDT at all.
Josh, did you hear what he said? He was like,
so for my
something.
advice,
He was like,
future,
next week I will be a mainframe developer at Comerica Bank. Let me just give you a little backstory because I'm sure you don't remember when we brought Jose on.
I recall, but please.
Okay, so I spoke to Jose during the admissions interview. And Jose had literally just gotten off work that day, and he was working as a construction worker. And he said, listen, you know, I just discharged from the military. I hate my job. I've always wanted to get into tech. I see that you guys are approved for vet tech. Can I get in? And, you know, I sat there and you know, after the interview, I said, you know, he's a prime candidate for the program that we have. He lives right here in Toledo. And so, you know, I had him go through all the channels. He got approved and got accepted into the program. 3 months later, 3 months later, the guy is saying, listen, I'm not working on a construction site anymore. I have a job as a mainframe developer working for Comerica Bank. Can I just say,
well, you know what I want, Carlos.
Yeah, right. I think I can give it to you if you just give me one. You can.
There we go.
See, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
That hands down is what it's about. We cannot say or stress enough how much we're building people and we're changing lives. You know, Jose reminds me so much of myself when I started this journey. I had someone ask me last night, Carlos, what's your background? What the hell does that mean? What's your background mean?
That's a broad question,
right? Because I don't know. Maybe you want me to say that I have a doctorate in whatever, right? I can tell you that I started going to school for computer science.
How about this? When a person asks about your background, how about what's your background in technology? What's your background in journalism? What's your background in history, politics? But what's your background in something specific? But Carlos, What is your background?
I don't have a damn background. I don't have a background, right? Because, and I guess this just is a part of human nature. You know, when you hear certain things, automatically, I don't know, maybe I become defensive.
Yes.
If I can even use that word, I'm defensive. Okay,
it's borderline offensive to just ask someone broadly, what is your background?
Yeah. Well,
It's almost asking, who are you as an individual?
Yeah, right. So I have a friend, and he likes to make the pun. He says, "You're not qualified," right? You're not qualified. When I hear what's your background, the question to me that I translate in my mind is, "Are you qualified? Are you qualified?" Right? And I think in the foundation of what DSDT is, it's very much the fabric of people like me. Jose is like me. You know, I showed up on the doorstep. I had a skill set that I didn't want to get into blight removal. I've done project management. I've done all these laborious tasks. And at the end of the day, I just knew that there was so much more that I could do with these outside of picking up bricks and doing all this manual labor. So, you know, I began to expand my mind, you know, and I don't think that students pay enough credit to the fact that there's nothing wrong with being self-educated.
No.
You know, you go into the classroom for that direction from the instructors to take you from A to Z. But in your downtime, in those wee hours of the mornings, you have to continue to educate yourself so you have advantages way more than those who would not.
And education comes from various areas.
Absolutely.
A few weeks ago, I emceed an event with Ford Fund. It's an initiative, Men of Courage as well, where they put together programs throughout the city of Detroit and across the country, changing the narrative of Black men. So this particular event at the Charles A. Tribe Museum about 2 weeks ago, we saw the premiere for the documentary with Andrew Young. He was a civil rights activist, the former mayor of Atlanta, the first Black man to be elected to the city of Atlanta as mayor. He was instrumental in the movement with Dr. Martin Luther King. And so the documentary talked about his relationship with Dr. King. And one question the lieutenant governor and I had for Andrew Young was, how do you encourage young people today to pursue their education? People younger than us, Carlos, listen to rap music. Of course, we listen to rap music. We love our athletes, things like that. Those individuals are very influential. But how do you look beyond that? And it's okay to look up to those individuals, but how do you get the younger people today, the millennials and the Gen Zs, if you will, to pursue higher education besides what they can do as far as on the courts or with a microphone, et cetera? And what Andrew Young said was, you have to understand where they may get their education from. It's not just from one particular area. And that was from Mr. Andrew Jackson Young himself.
Yeah.
That brother is 89 years old. He was side by side with Dr. King.
It doesn't come in a traditional sense.
No.
You know, and so that goes right along the line of what's your background? What's education, right? Where do you want them to get their education from? You want them to buy into your system of traditional learning. You want them to come into your corridors of higher education. You want them to sit in your lecture halls, and you want them to sit beneath these adjunct professors who never have really been in the industry, but they have a lot of book knowledge. It doesn't work like that for those that are looking for the information now. And that's one of the biggest things we pride ourselves on at DSDT. You know, in order to be an instructor, first of all, you have to be in the field in which you're trying to talk about. Right. I've sat in interviews with those that wanted to become instructors with us and told them directly, I'm sorry, I'm not going to hire you. And I will say it like that. You know, I'm not lying. Right? I'm just gonna tell you, I'm not hiring you. I don't even know why they set us up for an interview. Because if you're talking about trying to instruct the class, the first thing the class is going to want to know, are you qualified?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and qualification is more than simply just having a piece of paper. Because I guarantee you, I can point you a million master degrees, and at the end of the day, they have no practical understanding of what the master degree is in. And I'm not doing it or saying it to bash any particular form of education. I'm just saying that those who show up at the DSDT doorstep, they are looking for the next phases of their lives. And they don't have no 4 years to come and sit down in order to hear all of this theory and fluff. Why the hell, if I went to school right now, would I have to take basket weaving? For what? For what? I don't want to take basket weaving.
No.
I just want to get down to the nitty gritty so I can get a job and be a part of the evolution of the technology world as it is now rather than later. But I digress. Josh, we actually have one of our directors here that I think this would do well to make her part of the conversation right now. Can we bring on Mrs. Sierra Rosier?
Yeah. Sierra, thank you for joining us. Of course, you were present at the commencement. Give us your perspective on how everything went.
I think it went well. I also feel like it was very beneficial to the students who had not got to attend graduation, and they're not in person, so they don't get to see us. They don't get to see the people who participate in the day-to-day here at DSDT. So I think it was a very, mostly beneficial to the students.
Roughly how many students graduated this time around?
Like 400, maybe a little over.
And that's from one institution in Southwest Detroit.
Yes. What are you saying? What?
No, what I'm saying is it's not a big community college or university. It's one institution, and you graduated 400 students ready to go pursue their careers in all sorts of technology, in various areas of technology, I should say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100% correct.
And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So we graduated 3 different programs: the Tech 2, the Tech 6, and the Film Pro. Our largest class, I do believe, was in the Tech 6. So Tech 6 is a program that's comprised of Network Plus, CompTIA Network Plus, Security Plus, and CISA Plus. And so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's so mainly those that are interested in getting into IT. I like to say that they're more critical thinkers. Then that program is the beginning stages for their development along that career path. And you can see now we have some of the graduates of the Technology Professional 6 program that are screening.
I was just curious, my question, Carlos or Sierra, as far as your commencements, you've had 5 now?
Yeah. And so it's been about 5. Now, one of the things I will state is the fact that the reason why this class was so large was because we actually lost one of our commencements last year due to COVID.
Okay.
So we had to double down and make sure that those who had not experienced it, and I say that like tongue in cheek because I remember I had to go to Memphis last year to my niece's graduation, high school graduation, and it was done in the parking lot. Literally,
yes.
We drove up in the vehicle. They handed the diploma out there in the parking lot. We were just, I think, as a world effort, just trying to come up with creative ways in order that individuals would have these special days. So for us, we couldn't allow any more time to lapse without marking this occasion. The hope is that at some point especially with everything that's still going on, we would be able to bring those in person as much as possible to be able to honor them.
Absolutely. Sierra, I'm curious more about your role at DSDT. Tell us more.
So I am the director of administration. So I assist students with getting their documents in for admissions, getting into their portals, their campus cafe, their Canvas, accessing their classes. I'm kind of like the go-between between the admissions rep and student services. So I'm kind of like in the middle, and I connect all of the dots for each department.
How long have you been?
No, when you say you connect the dots, what does that mean?
So, like, okay, so
she's doing your job, Carlos.
No, that's not what she means.
But the admissions rep, like, they get the students, and then I follow up with the students to get the documents, to make sure that the documents in so that they can be enrolled with the director if they're a veteran. And then I make sure that they have their documents in so that the student services can get them enrolled into a class. So just, assisting keeping the moving parts moving.
Okay, so can you kind of tell us what here I go. What's your background and what brings you to DSDT to be able to do the job?
What's your background in administration?
So I actually have a master's from Central Michigan in administration. For the past 5 years, I've actually worked at a nonprofit as an executive assistant. I've done some project management and things like that. So my field has just always been in the administrative support and things like that. So I've always done that role. And so the degree in administration just helped me a little bit more.
So I will say this. Not often do I walk into situations and I feel like, okay, my word is wow, right? Sierra has that wow factor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
She has the wow factor. She says, not only have I chased and gotten the education, but I actually know how to apply it, right? And she knows how to dumb it down for little old Carlos as well, right? Because sometimes I just don't understand. I'm not formally trained, and I do things that are not the correct way. That's why it's good to have individuals surrounding you like Sierra. Phenomenal. One of the things that we were looking for and we missed early on was someone that was more or less the hub to DSDT, someone that we could all go to and they would have more of the answers, because so many times we work in these various silos. And ever since Sierra and her predecessor came aboard, oh man, I'm telling you, it runs like that. It's like a well-oil machine. And, it's something that we definitely are thankful and grateful for, because without her, I'm telling you, man, DSDT would not be what it is today, right? So we have to give her we have to give her one of those.
Well, the bottom line, Carlos, is you're bringing in people with experience.
Mm-hmm.
And actual work experience in their particular fields, whether it's digital media, administration, X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely. So, yeah, not everybody is going to be flying in the plane and building it as they're doing it like Carlos. So you don't have to worry about that. I can be a talking figurehead of sorts. They tell me, here's the X, go stand there and talk about it. And then I bring the Sierras behind me to back it up. It's just that simple, Sierra, here's even a more question for you, right? Now that you have the master's degree and you're here at DSDT, what would you say would be of value to the students who you come into contact with every day? You're talking, you're having them to enroll. What would you say would be the value of the experience with at DSDT versus the many of years that you spent laboring in order to get your degree?
I think the value is that I get to talk to the people. I get to meet the people. So it's kind of more of a hands-on experience with different individuals. Mm-hmm. Everyone's different. Everyone's circumstances and situations are different. So, of course, always the hands-on and in the job experience is always the best kind.
Yeah. I believe that. Do you see it as potentially, well, were you even in the technology field throughout the duration of your education?
Never. My undergrad is in criminal justice. I wanted to be a judge up until the day I graduated.
What made you change your mind?
Just some aspects like the politics and all of that are not really things that I'm most interested in. I feel like I'm more of service personality, and that field just didn't give me the opportunity to provide service to people like I want to.
Wow. I like that. So now I know every time I talk to you, you're going to be looking at me through the eyes of a judge. Right. I don't know if that's a good thing for me or not. Right. If there's one thing, Sierra, before we allow you to part with us, if there's one thing that you could tell students about their trying to enroll at DSDT from your standpoint, from your vantage point, what would that be?
Have your documents ready. Be prepared. As long as you got that, we can get you through.
So when you say have your documents ready, what does that mean? What does that look like?
So when you get that application in for enrollment, make sure we have 4 required documents to start. That's your ID. That's your proof of high school graduation. If you're in the military or veteran, that's your DD-214 or your COE for whatever veterans benefits you're using. Your financial aid already in the process and things like that. And then it's smooth selling from there.
Wow. Great stuff. Josh, what do you think about Miss Sierra?
I like Miss Sierra. She is giving you the one-on-one on how to get it done.
Absolutely. Sierra, as I always tell you, I definitely appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do, everything that you bring to the team. So we do have one question for you that has been brought to us by, it says the Black Mamba. I would believe that's Kobe-ish, but okay, right? What are the steps that a student?
There's only one Black Mamba. May he rest in peace.
Especially if you put the before it, the Black Mamba. I'm just saying, right? So what are the steps that a student should follow before getting enrolled in DSDT? Are there anything that you would consider prerequisites, or aside from the fact of having all the documentation in order, for someone that was considering DSDT as a potential starting point or that midlife opportunity of post-education, what would you say that those steps should be for them in order to get enrolled?
Besides your documents, it's just one, making sure that you have completed high school at minimum. Then, of course, the documents that I mentioned. And then we have your admissions interview. Then we have orientation. And then it's those final post-orientation docs. Once you get through those steps, then we're all ready to enroll you into a class and you're on your way to success.
Okay, so a minute ago, you made the statement that you felt as though you were more of the service-minded or hearted, right? Does this position play akin to that for you?
I do. I think it does. I'm always willing and available to help if students have questions, if they need information and things like that. I always take the time to say, well, hold on, let me look it up for you if I don't have it. Or I can stay on the phone while you get through this and let me know if you have any questions. So I'm always available to help if you don't understand, if you need assistance.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe, and definitely you get a lot of the serving part at DSDT, right? Because you just have so many variances of people that you come into contact with, as you alluded to. You know, you have individuals, believe it or not, who don't have high school educations. They don't have those diplomas. They don't have those GEDs, and yet they still want to enroll into your program. So you kind of have to walk them through the initial stages before they even qualified, if I can use that word again, qualified for the program. And then you have a number of individuals who may need documents from schools that have long since closed, and, you know, just so many things you have to do in order to truly get someone into the program. And that is what Sierra facilitates month after month for us. Sierra, thank you. It has been a pleasure. We appreciate everything that you've imparted on us today. Is there anything you would like to say to us before you leave?
There is nothing.
Oh, great. Great. Well, with that being said, thank you. We look forward to having you again. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Great individual right there.
Absolutely, Josh. See, that's what it's that's what it's about. You know, I actually am looking forward to having one of our earlier co-hosts on the show at some point in the near future. Yes. I won't tell you who she is right now, but yeah, when I'm speaking to other members of the team, it's often pointed out to me how far we've come. Mm-hmm. You know, and Sierra is just a reminder of that. At some point, Carlos won't necessarily be at the helm of the ship. Jamie won't be in the position as school director, CEO. So those are the individuals that we're going to be entrusting this dream to. And it is a dream still, you know, just as much as those that we are coming into contact with and they're becoming the great versions of themselves. We too are still moving in that direction, you know. And speaking of moving in that direction and those that come after us, we will have coming on soon our student guest. Our student guest is Miss Tiffany Gross. Now, Tiffany has a unique story to tell. One, because Tiffany was one of our scholarship alums.
Okay.
And I wanted to bring her on so that she can tell about her experience after having received a scholarship and all the wonderful things that she's been doing since. So Tiffany will be with us again after we pay a few bills. All right.
Right now, there are job opportunities in the tech industry we can train you for. In our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility, classes are beginning monthly in cybersecurity, drone technology, digital marketing, computer programming, film production, and many, many others. If you live in the Metro Detroit area and you're looking to learn a skill local employers are demanding, but one that isn't that of a laborer, at DSDT, you can learn a lot in less than a year.
Hello, I'm Jason Stemmer. I served 5 years as a combat engineer in the United States Army. In the summer of 2019, I joined DSDT to learn advancing technologies in computer support, networking, cybersecurity, many valuable tools in digital media. DSDT is partnered with a lot of veteran-friendly employers, and with the help of DSDT's Job Placement Assistance, I was able to quickly begin work in the IT field. I'm very pleased with this direction, as there is unlimited potential in the technology field, with no signs of growth or demand ever slowing. So come in for a visit, take a tour, and schedule a meeting with an advisor. DSDT really changed my life for the better, and it can change yours.
At a Detroit School for Digital Technology, we strive to provide students who are willing to learn new and exciting skill sets with a quality education in cutting-edge film technology to include recording in HD and 4K formats, drone videography, editing, and state-of-the-art color grading. Our instructors are friendly, knowledgeable industry professionals who are willing to teach. For more information, call us at 313-263-4200 or visit us on the web at dsdt.tech.
All right, welcome back.
Hey, I wish I could just walk around with an audience around me all the time, right? As soon as I walk into the room, they're like, yeah, yeah. I mean, think about it. I mean, literally think about it. That's the type of support we need, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know that's the only reason that I'm even able to sit here and have this conversation. If not for the support, if not for individuals cheering me to become a better version of myself, I don't get here.
And those are the only individuals you need around you.
Beg your pardon?
And those are the only individuals you need around you.
Well, since you put it that way. Since you put it that way, I'll be honest. I need some of the haters too.
Oh, the haters motivate?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's the saying, if you're doing your, like, you only have haters because you're doing it right. Or if you weren't doing it right, you wouldn't have haters.
I get the point.
Something like
the point,
that.
right? I get
it goes.
So,
but the point is, when you have haters, you're doing it right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I actually gave some thought to that today. And, you know, I was speaking to several of the team members and I'm like, okay, so, you know, one of my instructors, they had to bail on us because of COVID and I need you guys to come on the show. And they were like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. And it's not just one, it was several. I can't do it. I have stage fright or I can't talk in front of people. And I sit back and I'm like, you know, we all are created for something in this ecosystem. You know, everybody can't be Josh and Carlos and just mark an X. I'll go stand there and just start talking. You know,
no,
I don't know. Do you know who, what's her name? The gospel, not Paula White, the other one. What is her name?
Gospel
the evangelist,
singer?
Huh?
A gospel singer?
No, she's not gospel. She's an evangelist. I always do this right. But I remember, and I almost said her name. But one of her sayings is that I understand what God created me. He created me to be a mouth. Right? He created me to be a mouth. I can't play an instrument. I can't be I'm not the best dancer, but I am walking in my gift, just simply to speak, to encourage people, to be an inspiration. I know what my gift is. Josh, I kind of know what your gift is.
Hey, you know, it's funny you mentioned that, Carlos, because when I was a kid, I was a yapper. I would not stop talking. Was I great at math? No. Was I great at science? No. But I would not stop talking. And my cousins would tell me all the time, Josh, shut up. Just shut up.
Right.
But
listen,
we all have our purpose.
I don't know if I can outdo you on that, but what I can say is as early as kindergarten, I used to get marked D's and F's in conduct. Back then they gave you a conduct grade. I don't know what they do nowadays, right? So I get these D's and F's, and it was mainly because great student won't stop talking. You know what I'm saying? Right? So my whole thing was that I don't know. Like I said, I just believe that that's the way I'm created. That's the way I'm wired. I don't have a fear. I don't have a phobia. I love people. I find people so interesting. You know, if we want to really get into the thesis of it, it's not even about their backgrounds. I love people's stories. You know, I love to hear the stories, and therein somewhere I find a connection. And speaking of stories, we want to definitively bring on our next guest, Miss Tiffany Gross. Tiffany, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for joining us. Oh, are you from Milford?
Yeah, I know, right? Yes, I
Oh,
am.
it's a great community. Very great community.
I've got a bunch of boys in football, so I'm always wearing gear,
Right on, sister. Right on. Okay, so yeah, tell us about your story with DSDT. When did you enroll? I believe you're one of the recent graduates. Tell us about your experience.
Before DSDT, I have an associate's in graphic communications, which is also called graphic design. And then I have a bachelor's in business from Baker. And I'm an independent business owner who helps small businesses grow. And when the world flipped upside down during, COVID, it killed all my business. And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. I'm like sitting at home praying, going, all right, Lord, what's my next step? I need business. I need clients. And because a lot of the small businesses I was doing work for couldn't afford it because of what was going on with their businesses, and the economy being all crazy, it kind of put me at a standstill. So I ended up coming across the scholarship for DSDT. And when I looked at the curriculum, I noticed that there was a film degree and cybersecurity. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. With the graphic communication background and the business background, I'm able to help these companies grow. But now with the film degree, I can add to that and not only do like commercials for them and web promotions or just record. Like I do my church now, I do their weekly sermons. I'm gonna put them out online. But this gave me a whole new extra bonus to my company. And I also learned a lot about cybersecurity as well, because why not? If I'm going to take classes there at this tech college, like I want to take everything in that I can. So I did. And when I graduated, it really just put a nice little bow on everything I already had knowledge in, helped my business get back up and going. And now I've got a whole bunch of clients and I can't seem to keep up with the work. So it really did provide like the frosting on the top for everything that I had. And it helped me learn a lot about myself individually. And it was really fun. I know most people don't say that about school, but like, I loved it. I was one of those nerds that asked my teachers questions like every 5 seconds. I wanted to make sure I got it. I was in it. I loved it.
Wow, show up and show out, as Carlos likes to say quite often. And what I appreciate about your story, Tiffany, is you used your experience with DSDT to not only elevate your professional endeavors, but also benefit your community as well. Yeah. I mean, just some of the volunteer work you do with your local church, that's fascinating.
Yeah. They were looking, they're a very small church. And when we had started going there, they mentioned that, when COVID hit, it really helped them understand that they were not technologically where they needed to be. And a lot of churches nowadays are online. They're posting their weekly sermons and stuff. And this church hadn't done it, didn't have anybody that could do it. And I was like, oh, well, guess what? I have knowledge in that and I would love to do it. So not only am I, helping out my Lord, I'm helping out my church. And I've learned a lot in the process too, because I'm able to apply what I've learned from school. And then, like I said, use it in the local community. And I love it. So I am the film crew for the church.
I love that. I absolutely, I love it, love it, love it, love it. This is why, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring Tiffany on and have this conversation. Probably the biggest of interest to me is the fact that she received a scholarship and she actually embraced it and completed the program. It seems to me at times a number of the individuals who receive DSDT scholarships, they don't take it as serious. And in the long goal of it, a long aspect of it, they somehow fall by the wayside. Tiffany, can you express to individuals how much of an opportunity that scholarship is to those who receive it?
Oh, first, obviously it's a great opportunity. With going to college, even previous and prior, I had to take out student loans. I was a single mom. I had to rely on funds that I didn't have to pay for school. So when the scholarship came along, that was a blessing in and of itself. And then the fact that I had received that, I wasn't going to make that go to waste by any means. I was going to soak up everything that I could. So the scholarship itself is a massive blessing, but even the teachers that are there, they're willing to go the extra mile for you and help you. And with my experience with college, I'm not knocking my college experience prior, I didn't have teachers that gave that dedication. Plus, you don't always have teachers that are in the field working in that area. So they don't always know how to apply the questions you're asking. They might just say, oh, it's because of blah, blah, blah. And it's because they found it in the book. With DSDT, you know that your teachers are out there in the field so they can apply the knowledge and help you understand it. And like I said, each and every one of them went the extra mile. So that to me just spoke volumes. So I mean, like I said, I can say nothing but great things about this college.
So are you a veteran?
No, I am not.
Because you sure have that whole chisel about yourself, right? You do. I'm sorry, that's your candor. You make me think about the individual. I was interviewing an instructor, and he was sitting there with me with all of his background, and he had a degree. He had a master's in cybersecurity, and based on the questions that I asked him, I looked across to him because he seemed confused. I said, I'm sorry, but I can't place you in front of a class. I said, they're going to eat you alive. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, and here we are right now. We have a student that's saying that one of the best experiences that she had based on the education that she had prior is that the instructors seem to know exactly what they're talking about because they're practicing it on a day in, day out basis.
And you know what? I've done a little adjunct work at my alma mater, Eastern Michigan University. And one thing even universities are looking for more today are professors who are actually in the field. Mm-hmm. That is on high demand at institutions such as DSDT because that's your foundation, and across the board at community colleges, universities. It's all about finding more instructors who are actually doing the work as they are currently teaching it to students to pursue future careers in those fields.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it makes the experience a lot more engaging for the students that are seeking the information.
Not only that, it builds up credibility because as Tiffany alluded to, someone who's just teaching you a subject matter because they got it out of a book is not as believable as someone who did it yesterday.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And see, I didn't have any knowledge of cybersecurity before starting at DSDT. It always been something I've been interested in. So while taking the film courses, I had the opportunity to take some of those classes. So as somebody who doesn't know anything about that area, I was that student that asked questions all the time. And again, if the teacher didn't have the knowledge in the field, they probably wouldn't have been able to understand or know how to address my questions because I was asking not only basic questions, but I wanted to know the ins and outs and the working of it because I can code websites and do all that. Now I'm learning coding on another end. So again, the teachers having that knowledge was just a monumental difference.
So I just heard you say that you're learning some coding now, or you're into the coding aspect.
With Baker College, with my associate's degree, I had to learn how to code websites. So I can code a website from scratch. Like you just give me a notepad and I can type in all the hieroglyphs to get it on the screen. So when I learned cybersecurity is a different type of coding. You know, you have to learn how the computer itself functions and the programs within. So for me, it was just, again, it was really cool to learn another area of it. Now I'm not practicing in cybersecurity. I just was really curious about it. So I wanted to take a couple extra classes. But again, I was able to, ask the teacher the question, what's the difference between the web? What's the difference between the programs? How often do you come across different things? How often do these two things work together or do they often work apart? And if you don't know, if you've not been in the field, you're going to be flipping through a book trying to figure out how to answer questions. And that's, like I said, DSDT didn't give me that. I had teachers who knew what to do, knew how to address the questions, and were able to leave me wanting more, I guess, if that makes sense, at the end of the class. Like I couldn't wait to take another one. So it was good.
So Tiffany, here's a great question for you. Where are you in the constructs of your business? What's if you had a pain point right now with the business, what would it be?
I don't really know how to answer that question. I just know as myself, because I work for myself, it's just me. I'm the only employee. I've got a lot on my plate. I'm not at the point where I'm willing to really grow and expand too much outside of that. But I do have a lot of companies I'm already doing stuff for. Like there's a automotive company He was a brand new company, didn't know how to even get everything started. So I helped him submit all the paperwork to get his business started, helped him get brand identification, get his logo started. We're working on the website next. I also work for a law firm. His website is really not great. So we're going to rebuild his whole website and work on that, work on marketing through LinkedIn. Then again, I do the film for my church and help them advertise and marketing. We're also going to redo their website because that's another rough one. So I've got a lot on my plate, but I think it's all good and it's manageable. And my boys are actually, because I've got 5 boys, they are starting to learn it. My 11-year-old helps me operate the cameras and stuff at church. So he's learning a lot with that. So proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another one that takes the notes and stuff, and then another one that's learning editing. So, I mean, my business is going to grow within my family.
Yes, it is. Keep it in the family.
Yeah. But I mean, these are things that our children right now are growing up in a technology-based society. I mean, let's be honest. That's how everything is moving. I've got a kid right now. Well, he's out of school at the moment, but he does virtual here at home. I've got, the rest of them are in person. So, they're learning all this stuff. And if I can help them based on the knowledge I've learned, it's only going to help them succeed in the long run. I've got a 10, 11, 13, 16, and 19-year-old. The 19-year-old obviously is out of the nest, but the rest of them, these are things that they can use moving forward, going into businesses and figuring out how they can use their skills. And it's just going to help them out. So, but a lot of it I learned recently at DSDT. So it was kind of cool. They got to watch me at home, online, learning stuff at class. And then when I got done, they're like, "Oh, what'd you learn today?"
See. So here's even more my reason for asking you.
Yeah.
I would like, if I can use the word offer, it's definitely whenever you feel the need. When we started with DSDT here, it was literally no one here but Jamie and I. It was just Jamie and I. And for the longest, we practically burnt ourselves out by trying to do so much in developing the school. In its greatest day, we had roughly about 38 employees here. And now we have roughly about 34-ish. And a lot of those are offshore, as we're trying to, get everything back on campus. But my offer to you is, at any point that you feel that you need a sense of direction and you could probably bounce some thoughts off of individuals' head who have been there, I volunteer.
All right.
And you definitively want to tap Jamie's knowledge. Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with Motor City Match here in the city of Detroit. I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of the venture capitalists and, Women's Foundation and all the funding sources that are available for you if you had someone that potentially could walk you through those doors.
Okay.
So Jamie is definitively the person for that. And, I'm sorry, I just happen to know her. So I would offer, a conversation with her as well once you decide that you're ready to go through that next door.
Okay.
Because that's what it's about. It's a great opportunity for you to give, I don't know, some legacy to those children that are watching mom do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Because I wish I had an opportunity to go back and do it over. I'm not going to say I feel failure-ish, but
no.
Listen, I got to tell this quick story. My daughter, my youngest, is 16. And so I asked her the other day, "What are you going to be when you graduate?" She said, "Dad, I want to be a high school basketball coach." And I looked at her and she looked at me. I said, "Well, blockchain development is and she was like, "Dad, what's blockchain development?" I'm just saying, I wish I had that kid again when she was 11, 9, in order to see the version of her father where I am now, as opposed to where I once was. Because I truly believe what you're doing is going to impact them for the rest of their lives. And you're doing it the right way. So to you.
Thank you.
To you.
I try.
You're trying and doing very well.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, Tiffany, We thank you very much for coming on. Congratulations once again. And yes, please take Carlos up on his advice. Reach out to him and Jamie, because you are already doing well. And with a few more resources, don't tell him where you can go, sister.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And you got my personal cell. You got my personal cell. Not everybody, but you do. So lock me in.
All right.
Carlos with a K. And if ever you have any questions about anything, just reach out to me and I'll make sure if I don't have the answers, I'll get you the answers.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are definitely a hero. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Great individual right there, my friend. Great individual.
That's what it's about.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what it's about, right? We say that, and I don't just want to be cliche-ish in saying it, but you know, we have individuals who take, you know, what we have to offer and they run with it and they capitalize on it. And for me, that was within the vision that we saw for DSDT. You know, as we continue to try to build it out, we definitely would love to do more. You know, as we were preparing for this show today, I think at some point, and so let me say it, Josh. See, the one person that we have not had a conversation with about those formating years of DSDT is me. I'm just saying, we have to have a candid conversation about DSDT. I know, you know, I kind of get into it a little bit as we're having these conversations and, you know, these discussions with a number of the guests that we bring on. But just from my perspective, I would love, probably even next show, we need to have a conversation about some of those beginning years of DSDT, where we are today, and what is the future or the vision for the organization. What do you think about that?
I like that idea very much, and that would be a great way to kick off season 3 in January. That would be an excellent way to explain where you are currently with DSDT and give the background on how you got there. I like it.
Right.
Like it. Yeah.
Okay, so season 3. It is. So we already have it calendared. So we'll pick up on season 3 with us having a conversation about, you know, kind of akin to what Jamie and the Lisas had to say.
I think it'd be good for you, Jamie, and even Lisa, if she's available. All 4 of us, let's do it to kick off season 3.
Well, absolutely.
And that'll give the viewers even more perspective on the institution and why they should consider joining.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Before we go, you know, sometimes I'm getting older and my mind will slip me and may fail me at times, but by far this was the person I was trying to think of. Ms. Joyce Meyer.
My mother loves Joyce Myers.
Joyce Meyer.
Her. I've watched her a few times. She's incredible. She has a very firm but warm delivery.
Joyce Meyer, I was deep into the Joyce Myers and the T. Jakes and the Creflo Dollars, and you know, I was deep into them for a great time. And like I say, the biggest thing about Joyce that I loved was the fact that, you know, she told me early on it was nothing wrong with talking too much. It's a gift. And today I was reminded of how special it is, because some people literally have fright of doing what we just seem to do with no problems. Just have an open conversation. I don't care who's looking. I don't care if you're on the other side looking at me. I don't care if my haters are going to talk about me.
Haters are going to hate.
But I do care whether or not we have an opportunity that we miss to inspire someone to attend DSDT. Josh, my friend, again, as always, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too as well, brother. Always a pleasure, and looking forward to season 3.
And on that note, sir.
See you.